The desert holds its secrets well. That's what my grandfather always told me during our long walks across his seemingly worthless acres of sun-baked Nevada land. What the Henderson family never understood was that Grandpa Jack wasn't just a stubborn old man holding onto useless dirt. He was a visionary who saw the future in every ray of sunshine that hit his property. My name is Rachel Turner, and until last week, I was just the simple daughter-in-law who married into the prestigious Henderson family, the one who worked as an environmental sustainability consultant while everyone else chased real estate fortunes. The one who actually listened when Grandpa Jack talked about solar radiation levels and government energy initiatives. You can't be serious. Victoria Henderson's voice cut through the law office like a knife. Dad left the prime Lake Tahoe properties to us, but gave 3,000 acres of desert wasteland to her? My mother-in-law spat out the last word like it tasted bitter. William Clark, Grandpa Jack's lawyer for 30 years, adjusted his glasses. The will is quite clear. The Nevada property, all 3,247 acres, transfers entirely to Rachel Turner. My husband Thomas shifted uncomfortably beside me. His sister Amanda was already typing furiously on her phone, no doubt calculating what she thought was the minimal value of worthless desert land. This is ridiculous, Victoria continued. She's not even a real Henderson, just some tree-hugging consultant who got lucky with Thomas. She wouldn't know what to do with real property if her life depended on it. I thought about the folder in my bag, the one containing the preliminary proposals from the Department of Energy, about the satellite surveys showing my worthless inheritance had the highest solar radiation levels in the state, about the rare earth mineral deposits Grandpa Jack had quietly documented over decades. Rachel, Thomas whispered, maybe Mom's right. What are you going to do with desert land? We should sell it to the family for a fair price. A fair price. They had no idea what fair would mean in about 24 hours. Actually, I said quietly, I think I'll hold on to it. Grandpa Jack was pretty specific about wanting me to have that particular property. Victoria's laugh was pure condescension. Of course he was specific. He was going senile at the end. Probably thought he was doing you a favor, giving you anything at all. I remembered my last private conversation with Grandpa Jack, 3 months before he passed. We'd been standing on a ridge overlooking his desert property, watching the sun set in a blaze of orange and red. The world's changing, Rachel, he'd said, his voice still strong despite his illness. People like Victoria, they see wealth in buildings and water views. But the real future? It's right here, in every ray of sunshine hitting this land. He handed me a thick envelope that day. Don't open this until after the will reading. And remember, sometimes the best revenge is letting people think they've won. Now, watching Victoria and Amanda smirk at their prime inheritance, I thought about that envelope and its contents: detailed geological surveys, solar radiation studies, and most importantly, documentation of the governmental plans to build the largest solar energy farm in North America. Well, William Clark continued, there are some additional documents to review. The Lake Tahoe properties come with certain obligations, maintenance costs, property taxes, environmental compliance requirements. Victoria waved her hand dismissively. Yes, we know how to manage premium real estate. Unlike some people. She shot me another withering look. I pulled out my phone, checking the time. In exactly 18 hours, the Department of Energy would announce its solar initiative plan. The plan that would reveal my worthless desert land was the prime location for a $2 billion solar energy project. Rachel, Amanda said with fake sweetness, if you're worried about managing the property taxes, we could take it off your hands. Say $500 per acre, that's generous for useless desert. $500 per acre. The government's preliminary offer was close to $100,000 per acre, not counting the mineral rights or the ongoing revenue share from energy production. I appreciate the offer, I said, matching her sweetness with my own. But I think I'll try my hand at property management. Grandpa Jack taught me a few things about the land. Victoria's eyes narrowed. Did he now? And what exactly did my delusional father teach you about that worthless dirt pile? How to count cacti. I thought about the solar radiation maps in my bag, about the rare earth mineral surveys, about the government contracts already being drafted, about how Grandpa Jack had spent decades positioning his worthless land for exactly this moment. He taught me to look beyond the surface, I said simply. to see value where others don't bother looking. Thomas touched my arm. Honey, be reasonable. That land is ours from anywhere. No water rights, no development potential. Mom's offer is more than fair. I stood up, gathering my things. I think we're done here, Mr. Clark. Unless there's anything else. The lawyer shook his head, a subtle smile playing at his lips. He'd helped Grandpa Jack prepare for this moment for years. He knew what was coming. This is a mistake, Victoria called after me as I headed for the door. You're throwing away good money out of some misguided loyalty to a senile old man. I paused at the threshold, thinking about Grandpa Jack's last words to me. The desert holds its secrets well, Rachel. But tomorrow always brings the dawn. Tomorrow's dawn would bring more than light. It would bring revelation, validation, and yes, a bit of well-deserved revenge. Sometimes the sweetest victory isn't in fighting back. It's in waiting for the perfect moment to let the truth shine as bright as the desert sun. As I drove home, my phone buzzed with messages from Victoria and Amanda, each offering slightly more money for my worthless inheritance. I silenced the phone, smiling as I thought about the press conference scheduled for tomorrow morning. About how quickly worthless dirt could turn into prime solar energy land in the eyes of those who only saw value in dollar signs. The desert does hold its secrets well. But some secrets are meant to be revealed in the brightest light of day. The next morning dawned bright and clear, perfect weather for a revelation. I arrived at my office early, watching the Department of Energy's livestream on my laptop while monitoring the business news channels on mute. Right on schedule, at 9 a.m. Eastern, Secretary Williams stepped up to the podium in Washington. My phone started buzzing immediately. Victoria, Amanda, Thomas, even cousins I hadn't heard from in years. I let them all go to voicemail, focusing on the Secretary's words. Today, we announced the largest renewable energy initiative in American history, she began. A $2 billion solar farm project that will power over 2 million homes. The centerpiece of this initiative will be located on privately owned land in Nevada. Land that our studies have shown to have the highest solar radiation efficiency ratings in North America. My direct line rang, William Clark calling as planned. I put him on speaker. Rachel, he said, amusement clear in his voice, I believe your mother-in-law is trying to break down my office door. Is she watching the press conference? Oh yes. She turned quite pale when they showed the map of the proposed solar farm location, even paler when they mentioned the rare earth minerals. On screen, Secretary Williams was unveiling the detailed plans. This location also contains significant deposits of neodymium and dysprosium, critical elements for renewable energy technology. The combined energy and mineral rights make this the most valuable renewable energy site in the country. My cell phone buzzed again. Thomas this time. I picked up. Rachel, he sounded breathless. The desert land, your land. They're saying it's worth about $100,000 per acre for the solar rights alone, I finished, plus mineral rights and ongoing revenue share from energy production. Quite a bit more than your sister's generous $500 per acre offer. Silence. Then, you knew. You and Grandpa knew all along. Grandpa Jack spent 30 years preparing for this moment. All those trips to the worthless desert. He was documenting solar radiation levels, conducting mineral surveys, positioning the land for exactly this opportunity. Mom's losing her mind, Thomas said quietly. She's already called her lawyers, talking about contesting the will. She won't get far, I said, watching the secretary continue her presentation. William has ironclad documentation of Grandpa Jack's competency, plus decades of scientific surveys proving he knew exactly what he was doing. A commotion outside my office drew my attention. Victoria Henderson burst in, face flushed, designer suit slightly askew. Amanda trailed behind her, still frantically typing on her phone. You conniving little witch, Victoria's voice shook. You manipulated my father, turned him against his own family. I muted the live stream. Actually, Victoria, your father turned away from the family all on his own. Watching you mock his worthless land year after year, dismissing his vision of renewable energy's future, you did that yourself. The will can't stand, Amanda interjected. Daddy was clearly not in his right mind. I opened my desk drawer and pulled out Grandpa Jack's envelope. You mean the brilliant businessman who spent 3 decades secretly conducting environmental surveys? The one who predicted the renewable energy boom and positioned his assets accordingly. I spread out the documents. The one who kept meticulous records of every soil sample, every radiation reading, every mineral deposit. Victoria snatched up one of the papers, eyes widening at the governmental letterhead. These applications for solar survey permits, they're dated 15 years ago. Grandpa Jack was many things, I said quietly, but Sinai wasn't one of them. He saw the future coming long before anyone else. He just needed someone who shared his vision to carry it forward. We're family. Victoria's tone switched to wheedling. Surely we can come to some arrangement. A partnership perhaps. I thought about all the times she called me simple, mocked my environmental work, dismissed me as a gold digger who got lucky with Thomas. Actually, I said, pulling out another document, I've already arranged a partnership. The Department of Energy is creating a nonprofit research foundation to study renewable energy technology. Half the proceeds from the solar farm will fund scholarships for environmental science students. You're giving away half the money? Amanda looked horrified. To strangers? I'm investing in the future, I corrected. Just like Grandpa Jack invested in that worthless desert 30 years ago. My phone buzzed. A text from William Clark. Contractors arriving at the property now. Shall I send you the video feed? I turned my monitor around, showing the live security feed from the property. Heavy equipment was already rolling in, geological survey teams marking sites for the initial solar array installation. Victoria slumped into a chair, the fight draining out of her. All those years, we thought he was just being stubborn, holding onto useless land. He tried to tell you, I said. Every time you mocked his dirt pile, every time you dismissed renewable energy as a pipe dream. But you were too busy counting the value of your Lake Tahoe views to listen. Thomas spoke up from the doorway where he'd been quietly watching. The property taxes on those lake houses, they're more than the properties generate in rent. I nodded. Grandpa Jack knew that too. Those prime properties are actually money pits. The real wealth was always in the desert, for those willing to look past the surface. Over the next few weeks, the true scope of Grandpa Jack's vision became clear. The solar farm would be the largest in the Western Hemisphere. The mineral deposits would supply rare earth elements for the next generation of renewable technology. The land value soared to over $400,000 per acre. Victoria and Amanda did try to contest the will. Their lawyers withdrew the case after seeing Grandpa Jack's meticulously documented surveys and permits. The press had a field day. Solar Visionary's grand plan revealed, and Desert Gold. The future of green energy. I kept my office simple, but I did hang one new item on the wall. A photograph of Grandpa Jack standing on his worthless desert land, smiling at the setting sun. Below it, I framed the last note he'd written me. The future belongs to those who can see the value in tomorrow's sunlight. Some will call you simple for believing in that future. Let them. The desert knows how to keep its secrets until the right moment. The Henderson family's Lake Tahoe properties were sold within a year, the maintenance costs proving too high. Victoria still won't speak to me, but Thomas has come around, even joining the foundation's board to help guide its renewable energy initiatives. Last week, I stood on that same ridge where Grandpa Jack and I had our last conversation. But now, instead of empty desert, I saw fields of solar panels stretching to the horizon, capturing the sunlight he'd valued so much. The land wasn't worthless. It was just waiting for the right moment to reveal its true value. Sometimes the best revenge isn't in proving people wrong immediately. Sometimes it's in letting them dismiss you, underestimate you, mock what they don't understand. Because when the right moment comes, when the sun finally rises on the truth, the realization of their own blindness is worth more than any amount of land. The desert does hold its secrets well. But when those secrets are finally revealed, they shine brighter than any lake view ever could.